hips, shoulders, quadriceps, and the hammies, okay? So let's begin with the lower back. Come onto the mat or surface, anywhere you are. And we're going to start off in a child's pose, but the child's pose is going to be knees closed. So coming down for a moment, hands behind you, and then allow yourself to sink down here. And if you want to or need to, you could pop a stack of books underneath your forehead or a block. I'm going to stay here, maybe 5 to 10 breaths. And the more you can tuck your chin in, the more you can press your hips back, the more you can round your spine, the more we'll start to loosen a little bit that lower back. But we're going to take it really slow and really gently. Let your shoulders just slump forwards. Maybe over time making little tiny shifts to go slightly deeper in. Feel your way in so that you know exactly where the point is that you need to be at to release the lower back. Let your shoulders be soft. Relax the face, fingertips. Good. We've done 10 nice breaths here. Bring your fingertips to the ground. Start to slowly lift up. Yeah, coming up almost halfway. You're going to place your hands in front of you. Open the knees out wide. And if it doesn't feel comfortable to sink this far back in the pose, come a little further forward. The same with the child's pose. You can be a little further forward. That's perfectly fine. The emphasis is going to be on the lower back. So we're going to arch the back. And then round, tuck your chin. Arch the back. And then tuck the chin right in. And arch the back. Tuck the chin in. One more time, arching the back. And maybe if it's available, you sink down just as far as it feels okay for you. Keeping the arch in your spine, extend the fingers. Stay here a few more breaths. Feel as though there's a string attached to your collarbone that's drawing you forwards. Keep the arch in the spine now as you lower your chin to your chest. Little turns of the head from side to side. Let's come to all fours. Take a couple of cat-cows here, and maybe even rounding and circling the spine, just doing whatever movements feel nice in your body. And then opposite direction. Let's take the right arm up to the sky. Hold it here a moment, just noticing that twist in the body. And swing your hips a little bit more to the left. And then we're going to come and pass the right arm underneath the left, bringing right shoulder down, taking left fingertips forwards. Good. And if this feels uncomfortable in any way, you could pop a pillow or a book underneath the head or the shoulder. We won't stay here too long, but this is a nice twist for the back. And coming back up onto hands and knees. Let's take another round of cat-cows 5 times. Good. Really focusing again on the lower back. And then come to take the left arm up. Pause for a moment, feeling into that space. And quite often your hips are going to want to swing out to the side just to help you out. See if you can bring them back to center so that the twist is coming not so much from the hips, but it's actually coming through the waist. And then we slide the left arm underneath the right, taking the right arm a little forwards. And the more you can wriggle your left shoulder over to the right side, the more you're going to get a little bit more of a twist. Good. Wonderful. Let's come back up. Tuck your toes under. And now your feet have probably been working hard all day, so you're going to give them a little tap here. Point the toes, little taps. Good. Tuck the toes, little taps. Point the toes, little taps. Tuck the toes, little taps. And then walk the hands back. Lift your knees up. And we're going to come into a squat. Now the squat is going to look differently on different people. So maybe it's going to be here. And maybe it's going to be all the way down. Maybe you're going to be on your tiptoes. Doesn't matter. We're just going to start to come into the hips. And walk the hands forward, just reaching out, chin to chest. And if you're lifted up, that's totally good as well. Good. Come all the way down. We're going to come to sit. Find yourself seated. Good. To begin with, we're going to cross the ankles. It's in an easy seat. Good. And then rounding the back, lift your chest. Round the back, lift the chest. Good. Round the back, lift the chest. Good. Round the back. And lift the chest. Start to walk your hands forward. You're going to come into a forward fold. So coming as far as it feels good for you. Tuck your chin, relaxing the shoulders. Maybe give them a few rolls, one direction and the other. Maybe sinking all the way down. And you can always stack your fists. Use blocks to rest your head on. We want the shoulders to be soft. Good. Good. Start to come up. And then bring yourself so that your shin is parallel with the front of your mat. I'm just going to do it side on so you can see. So you're going to be parallel with the front of your mat. And the second leg is level with the side of your mat. Good. Good. So from here, we're going to place the hands behind you and roll. In fact, place the one hand on your hip, the hip that's behind you, and begin to roll backwards and forwards. Good. Just rolling backwards and forwards here. Just mobilizing through the hip. Good. And then we're going to take the knees to the back. Now, flex your feet. Lift the knees up, head, and seeing if we can keep the feet where they are, turning, and switch. So actually, I'm going to do it from here. And turn. Hands can be behind you or no hands, totally up to you. You're going to turn, feet don't move as you turn to the back of your mat. Hand comes to the hip and rolling back and forth. Good. Keep rolling the hip back and forth. Nice. Good. And then we're going to pivot back. Again, fingertips behind you if you want to. Good. As you pivot back. And then let's do that a few times just to loosen up the hips. So we're moving from one side to the other. And as you reach, as you land at the end of the pose, roll the back hip forwards. And then taking it back. You might find that you start to travel on your mat, almost moving off the mat. That's totally normal. Just reset yourself when that happens. Good. Nice. Do that a few times. And then turning to the front, You're going to bow over the right leg. Good. Aiming your left shoulder down. And then coming up, pivot to the opposite side. Lower down, aiming right shoulder down. Come back to center. And then we're going to come onto, reset my mat. We're going to come onto your hands and knees, lift up into down dog, but keep it low in your down dog. So pedal out, pushing into the Achilles tendons. One at a time. Lift up and down. Good. And then come to take the right leg out. Give it a little shake. Bend the right knee and open up the hip. This is going to just release a little bit the quadricep. Let the right leg go floppy. And then come to step the right foot to the top of the mat. Lower the left knee. Keep your fingertips on the floor. You're going to bend into the left knee. Sinking here. Rotate your ankle. Good. And stay here, or you can reach back with your right hand. See if you can hold the foot. And if you want to, you could use a strap or a belt or a scarf or t-shirt or anything to loop around the end of your foot, to draw it in a little bit. Feel that release through the quad and front of the thigh. And then walk back. You need to extend the right leg. Good. Now tuck the toes under so that you're balanced. And another little tip for balance is that if the legs are too much in alignment, it's going to be quite hard. So take the extended legs slightly out to the side. Good. Good. Flex the foot and then arch your back. Take a little lean forward. Now place your hands on something if you need to. That's fine. You can clasp the hand over the top of the leg. Now make sure we're also not pushing too much into that joint. And stick your bum out. Good. Come back. Good. Bring the foot again a little bit more into the center. Clasp your hands behind you. Lift the chest. Good. And then release. Let's take 3 big circles. Once, twice, 3 times. Good. Hands to the floor. Step the right foot back. Tuck your toes. Sink back through child's pose. Take a little wriggle here, a little pause. And then lift back up into that crouching down dog. And pedal it out, getting right into the Achilles tendon. Good. And then we lift up the left leg, give that a little shake. And then bend the left knee. Allow the knee to start to point to the sky and the left leg to go floppy. As though you want to kick yourself in the bottom. Come to step the left foot forwards, right by your left thumb. Lower the right knee down. Keep your fingertips on the floor as we bend the right knee, circling the ankle. Any discomfort in your knee, make sure that you are padding the mat so you can come to take the mat back like that and pad the mat if you want to, so that when you're on here, you're just nice and padded. Good. Circle the other direction. And then again, maybe reaching back, see if you can hold the foot and drawing it in. Feeling your way into the front of the thigh, the front of the hip. Good. And then release. I'm going to take the mat forwards again. Good. And then left side. Good. And then I'm going to walk the leg out slightly to the left and then extend. Right toes are tucked. Flex the left foot. Clasp the hands over the top of the thigh or hold on to something that gives you a bit of stability. You know, arch your back and then lean forward, sticking the hips out behind you. Good. Wonderful. Come back up. Sink forwards, hands to the ground. Oops, sorry, come back up. Clasp your hands behind your back again. Lift the chest. And release. And this time we're going to circle the arms forward rather than backwards. So circle once, circle twice, 3 times. Good. Hands to the ground. Step back, back into that crouching down dog. Let your hips lift to the sky, shoulders extending. And start to walk your hands back towards your feet. Take a little rock here. And roll all the way up, vertebra by vertebra, coming all the way up. Lift the arms up. And then hands come into your heart. Start to rub your hands together. And all the way through the back of the hands, front, all the way down the fingertips, all the way up and down the arms, as though you're having a shower. Head. All the way through the collarbones, chest, belly, hips, lower back, thighs, all the way down, feet, and then come back to find your squat. Take the right hand down, lift the left arm up. Take the left hand down, lift the right arm up. Come back to sit. And we're going to wrap the arms around the back of the knees, by your head, and pause here. And from here, you wriggle your feet forward only as far as it feels okay to do so. Notice how that feels in the back of the legs and the lower back. But keep hugged in really tight so that your belly is really connected. So we couldn't even slide a piece of paper between your belly and thighs. Good. Gently come back up. We're going to take the left leg in front of you, the right leg behind. Good. Back into those 2 right angles, and then come to lean over the left leg. Pausing here. Good. Relax the jaw, shoulders. Even the shoulders can come forwards a little bit more. Just depends on how you feel right now. Keep the right hip rolling forwards. And gently come back up. Bring the right foot in front of you. You're going to roll down to the mat. All the way down. Knees are bent. And then from here, we're going to tilt the tailbone all the way up. And then arch the back. Just let your bum just about brush the floor. And then round the spine again. And then arch the back. Bum just touches the floor. And then we round the spine, tucking in. Again, arch the back, maybe wriggling the shoulders under a little bit more. And then round. Good. Arch the back. As though there's something underneath you that you want to lift your back up off of. And then round the spine to press into this little, maybe there's like a big red button. So you're trying not to touch it. As you lift the chest, lift bum touches, but the lower back is really far off the ground as much as possible. And then we round the spine. Can you let your mid back push into that big red button? And one more time. Arching the back. And rounding the spine. Good. Come to stay up here. Clasp your hands underneath you. Good. Push into the feet as you lift your hips. And slowly, slowly, slowly ripple your spine down. Rock your knees from side to side. Good. And then come to just settle for a moment. Give yourself at least 5 to 10 breaths here. Okay. When you're ready, let's have a stretch up overhead. Roll over onto your side. And then bring yourself back up. Cross your ankles. And let's take one more forward fold just to release that lower back. Now doing this forward fold also gets into the hips. If you'd like to do a second one and change the cross of the leg so that you get into the opposite hip. And then bring yourself back up. Ready for maybe a little bit of relaxation the rest of your time, and maybe more walking tomorrow. Take good care.